guys, two mics, without our producer tonight.
Yeah. We're taking the night off, doing some personal stuff. We miss you though. We'll see you in the next week. But welcome to another episode of Blerd Survival Guide. Welcome.
I'm your co-host, Jay.
I am your co-host, Jeremy, and this is Blerd Survival Guide. Welcome to our new episode. Jay, how are you feeling today?
Man, I'm on 10. For real. Like Kendrick said, are we on 10 yet? I'm on 10. How are you doing, Jeremy?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good. You woke me up from a nap. That's what I was doing.
Sure did. I think I'm a pretty good alarm clock. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it was a steady alarm because I didn't hear anything, and all of a sudden I just heard like a faint and it just got loud. I was what is this?
That's the Apple alarm for me. Is like it fades in real nicely. And it just like builds, and it's not abrupt like the one that people set sometimes.
Oh yeah, no, it works. But I appreciate you for waking me up so we can start this podcast today.
Yeah, I'm excited. What are we talking about?
So it is our Naruto episode that we've so wanted to talk about since season 1. We never got around to it. We've just gotten so many things that we've gotten to do, and it's time. It is a time in our lives that we need to discuss because certain things have happened in the most recent episode of Boruto.
So I think it takes a moment like this to like really define Naruto as a universe. It takes a moment because like it's so intertwined into the entire story from beginning of Naruto to Naruto Shippuden and then into Boruto. Right?
Exactly, man. It's definitely a generational movie. Not movie, TV show.
So are we gonna spoil the moment for people at the end of this? Because like I don't know if like it's been out. It came out today, right?
It came out today. Well, based on Hulu standards for the American audience, it came out today, which is Sunday. Tuesday would have been about a couple days, and I mean, memes have already talked about it.
God, the memes are all over Facebook. I watched this episode at 7:30 this morning, and Sunday morning when it came out in America, basically. Mm-hmm. And I am upset because, like, before I got on, I just happened to grab my phone to get on Facebook, and I immediately see a image from the episode captured, and just with someone's opinion about it already up on my Facebook. And I'm like, can we not have like a moratorium on, memes and spoilers for at least, half a day, like 12 hours?
I would say just a full 2 days after an episode came out.
So, okay, I could do 2 days. I mean, like a full day, like that would be great, but I don't think so. The internet doesn't behave that way.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't blame it on the internet, but I blame it on people on the internet.
Sure.
But that's a whole nother episode.
That's whatever. But so does that mean do you think we'll have time? Should we spoil it?
I would wait until possibly the end of the episode.
Okay, cool. So
we can talk about basically our journey of Naruto up until
the most recent episode.
Well, up until the most recent episode, but basically our growth in it and the people's growth in it, because this show has been on. Well, Naruto specifically has been in media for over 20 years, almost 20.
Right.
Almost 22 years, I believe. Came out in early 2000s, about 2001, 2002.
This is the manga.
Mm-hmm. And the anime. No, the anime came out around that same time as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, early 2000s, okay. And it's like I said, we're in 2021, and we're literally in the next generation with the Naruto Next Generations. And it's a cultural phenomenon, first and foremost, for something to travel from Japan. Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, from Japan all the way to America.
I mean, it's a Show and Jump original, like anime or manga / anime, right? Like, yeah, this is like in the same universe as One Piece historically, mm-hmm. As well as Dragon Ball Z, yep. And all of those versions. So
literally, I mean, this is a giant among giants when it comes to anime,
without a doubt.
Because I mean, you have One Piece who's currently still going, and it's on over 900 episodes. You have Dragon Ball, which has been in rotation since the 1980s, and it's on its 10th or 11th iteration of this TV show at this point.
Iteration is the exact way to put it, because I mean, so yeah, the original run for Naruto, like the actual TV show, was September 21st, 1999 to November 10th, 2014. So it's safe to say that the Naruto universe has existed since the new millennium.
Oh, definitely. No,
Which is kind of crazy to think about, like, to see how this show has evolved across. I mean, like, there's few shows that, like, I think that exist like this.
SpongeBob.
Sure. Throw him up there. Like, he belongs up there.
Because SpongeBob's first episode, which was a silent short, came out May 29th, 1999. So it's actually a little bit older than Naruto.
Exactly. And
And
then,
there's still new episodes of SpongeBob.
without a doubt,
also,
but
we have the spinoffs that we shall not discuss because I don't want to tank this podcast.
But anyway, I mean, yeah. So now that we have firmly solidified Naruto as a giant amongst cartoons, anime, manga, entertainment,
Right.
I think that, like, I mean, I started watching it on Toonami on Cartoon Network, right? Like, so that was my first introduction, because I've been watching Naruto since, like, I'd say middle school, because I remember being in middle school in 6th grade, and there was a Japanese girl in my class, and I asked her if she liked Naruto, and she told me that it was for her little brother, and she thought that it was dumb. And I'm like, that's
a valid response from
a 6th grader, yeah,
a 6th grade middle school girl.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, yeah, I was a little hurt at the time when I said, because I was like, maybe we can bond over this thing, right? But like,
hey, middle school crushes be brutal.
Oh, I did have a little crush on her.
That's what I'm saying. They be brutal, man. Middle school was a tough time.
It's a wild frontier. I mean, hormones, puberty, and school. Are you kidding me? That is a recipe for disaster on a regular basis. But Naruto got me through it. Naruto was there for me, bro.
Yes.
100%. Watching this man say "believe it" in the dub, because that's the only way that I got access to it to start.
Oh yeah, no, that's all you can hear, because Toonami, I mean, thankfully they did have the dub. But yeah, no, that's all you hear from literally from the jump.
Which is like the worst translation of Tatabayo I have ever. Apparently, that's just like ever existed.
What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? The history of dubbing and from anime in America, as it has acknowledging that it has gotten better across the time, is a rough one, though.
Oh yeah, definitely translating just any facet of the Asian language to English.
Right.
I commend the writers and producers who are doing it for the benefit of American television.
Truly.
But
I mean, it's hard because, like, you have full, like, cultural idiosyncrasies and stuff that you're trying to translate within the word. We can go off on that.
We can.
That's a whole tangent. I
mean, a small little tangent, like we discussed off podcast when we were talking about the dub, the switch from dub to sub on My Hero Academia.
Right.
Because there was an episode that I saw recently where Midoriya was saying that he was talking to Todoroki and he was telling him, "Hey, we have exams coming up. Can you teach me English?" He said that in the sub, so it was like, all right, that makes sense. You're Japanese, you need to learn English for the exam.
But like,
how are you going to?
How are they going to adapt that to America in the dub?
Exactly. So it's just
like maybe. I mean, you would imagine that they would still stick with English, because like we still want to like maintain a little bit of the authenticity of the experience of these people as Asian culture. Actors and or characters.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right. But
because America be American.
Exactly.
Right.
They would have to switch it up, like, hey, he would probably just say, in the simplest way of just and this is my amateur dubbing debut, it's like the most reasonable thing he would say is like, hey Todoroki, can you just help me study?
It'd be better. That'd be better than saying, "Hey, Todoroki, can you help me study English?"
Can you help me study my English
or Japanese? Even like that would be the worst option, right?
Because switch it up on them.
Just completely invalidate the fact that these are Japanese characters, which I'm sure has happened plenty of times, across time. But whatever. What I think what I've also seen though, like across the development of Naruto, is just an amazing and like the amazingness by which that these writers are able to intertwine the universe and like across. Like I've always said that Naruto is an intergenerational story.
Oh, definitely.
And like to be able to attach the past to the present, I think is just like one of the coolest things that I've ever seen done.
And they do it so seamlessly.
I mean, like you're all at one time. You're given a whole other reason to like this show because of how like the ripple effect to like the point in which you see something happen in Naruto.
So why something happens in Naruto or Boruto, why it happened.
Like, yeah, like
why it's happening because you've seen it before.
Exactly.
And they show what has happened before.
Exactly.
Like, this is why this is happening now. It's like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, for them to, and
wow.
like, and to just like, it's a show that's, I guess, still originally created for children to understand, right? Like,
it's got to be. I mean, language.
Aside. It's still not the most like. It's not very vulgar.
It's not. I mean, you get a couple dams, you get a couple.
Sure.
Yeah.
But like, as far as like, you know, how vulgar it is, it's not a very vulgar show. Yeah, there's death, like because it's a ninja universe, obviously.
Right.
But like, I still think that it's semi-appropriate for teenagers.
I think that the target demographic was like middle school to high school, middle school and up. Because I mean, you do have like
because there are some mature themes.
Yeah, mature things, but like if you want to like actually put it for children, you have the Adventures of Brock Lee and Friends.
Precisely.
You got that.
That's actually a trail of a TV show that I have not yet gone down, and I mean I don't. It's not for lack of like not wanting to. It's just I haven't thought about it like actively. Have you done this?
Well, John was watching it in the car when we were heading to California.
Okay.
And so I mean, I would be sleeping in the backseat and I would just hear. I thought it was an actual episode of Naruto, and then all of a sudden I would just hear Rock Lee, Ten, and Neji, and it's just them three for like 30 minutes, and it's like, huh.
Well, you know, I always thought where it was intrigued by that team, right? Like that, because like they've got two really OP people and one very not so OP person. To be fair, I won't name any names, but we know who I'm talking about. Don't say it. Don't say it. But they were older than Naruto's graduating class.
Yeah, they
right?
were like 2 years older.
And I was always fascinated by the fact that like they hadn't achieved it like at the same like they became a Jonin and whatnot like eventually, but people in Naruto's class like for real like you had some mad geniuses within it. They were just like through the ranks and everything, man. Like you had Shikamaru like he was the first Genin, right? Like
you have Naruto who is a freaking Hokage and
while still being a Genin. Yeah. That had me weak.
Never passed his exams.
And they didn't even acknowledge that in Boruto.
Exactly.
Like, they bring it entirely back.
Literally, Naruto is telling Boruto, it's like, well, I'm still a Genin. Like, it's happening.
But yeah, like bringing it back, that's seriously one of my favorite parts about this show is just like how they intertwine the storytelling, how they intertwine the intergenerationality of it, and then how it like within like because of that it appeals to a wide audience of a viewership across the globe, bro. Like across the globe.
It is a worldwide phenomenon. That's what a lot of anime, but we're focusing strictly on Naruto here. Like,
what's some of your favorite things about it? Like, I mean, I've been watching this
You have been watching it?
You're newer to it.
I am newer to it.
You've rewatched episodes, too.
I've rewatched episodes. I started watching it about 2 years ago and have caught up, so my mind is a little bit fresher on it when it comes to the whole arc of things. It just, as a whole... It makes you feel
truly
like, and not just happy, not just good. It gives you a wide. I'm about to say wide too.
a wide range
of emotions watching it. Going like, I mean, when when looking at Naruto's story specifically, that Naruto the character, not the TV show,
Sure,
and him being abandoned as a child, him being chastised and shunned by the village, him facing those realities each and every day, but then also still having this happy-go-lucky attitude, knowing that he's going to be Hokage one day, all the way up to him becoming the Hokage because he spoke that into fruition, and him as a person is just somebody that
he wouldn't give up. Like he wouldn't give up on his dreams.
Kids have aspired to be him. Adults have aspired to be him. It's just one of those characters that you can just chalk up there. It's just like everybody wants to be.
He's top tier. One of the most inspirational characters in written and on television, in my opinion, and on the big screen because there are several Naruto movies. Right, like they've managed to tell a story here that it's impactful. And I mean, that's really all you can ask for from a TV show. And like, at that, a cartoon, right? Like, I mean, we've talked about how like a lot of cartoons, because of the nature of them, don't really leave that much of an impact because of, how they've told a story or, the lessons that are within them.
Or the lack of story.
Or a lack of story or the lack of lessons.
Yeah, because I mean, some of these TV shows are literally... And
they're brain shows too.
They are
brain numbing.
Yeah, they're mind-numbingly good times. But like, I mean, you have like the Johnny Test TV show. I mean, it's literally there is no one forward plot. It's literally just a TV show of a kid who has genius twin sisters that gives them a power each week.
And like what? Yeah, like
that's it.
Exactly.
That's it. And what can you do in this town?
I mean, sure, it's a storytelling element like, around like what to do with given like awesome responsibility to some degree, but like, or what would a kid do if gifted with like this awesome responsibility? And like, obviously they do things that kids would do, and that's fun. But at the same time, it doesn't have as much of an educational element.
Right.
And I mean, and I don't know. I mean, yeah, it could be said that there is a place in the world for ignorance, and I completely think that, right? But like, personally, when I think about what's gonna progress us, it's the things that leave that kind of impact.
Oh, definitely. And I mean, it comes from. It starts, and all TV shows start here. It starts in the writers' room.
Truly.
I mean, even when it comes, even if it is based off a manga that leads into a TV show, you still have the writers' room that's like writing these. You have people who are in here writing these. The most emotional speeches that you will ever hear in your lifetime.
Bro, Gaara's speech before the war. Before the fourth great ninja war.
That rally speech, oh my God.
With like the what was it, the United Shinobi Forces. I'm sitting here and I mean I could well up just thinking about it even now because like it's not just about the speech, bro. It's about his growth and development to the point where he made that speech, bro. And you're sitting here telling me like that can't hit you in them feels like.
First of all, you're thinking this is the same Gaara that had anger issues and was also like basically the same storyline as Naruto, but was angry.
But
angry, shunned by his entire town. His family wanted to kill him. He is basically, I mean, he's the one-tailed Jinchuriki, and death and destruction to anybody who crosses his path is now leading the United Allied Shinobi Forces, giving this speech, telling them that we are all for one and we are going to save the one guy who knows us all, and that's Naruto. And
bro,
I wanted to join the United Allied Shinobi Forces after I saw that, and I don't even know a lick of.
I mean, I'm dead ass. I'm gonna get that headband now that we're talking about it more. Like, I mean, I've got the Leaf headband, but like, I want that Allied Shinobi Forces, bro. Like that moment was like one of those like proper build-ups to like a moment that I've always held like a great appreciation for in the Naruto. Like,
first of all, it was years in the making. Years in the making.
Without
leading up to the fourth Great Ninja War.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
And for Gaara to give that speech after having that battle, that one of the very first battles that we knew that Naruto was a badass MFer.
So I'm gonna play devil's advocate a little bit here, and I need like you to like. We've started to come into a new era of anime where filler is much less frequent.
Right.
And I mean, I'm not. And now that we're talking about this, like in the memories that I have the memories that I've had with this show, and you've experienced this show and like in all of its filler, and now we're starting to get into this new era. Mm-hmm. Is it so good that we're not getting as much filler to like build to these moments? Because like, I mean, truly, it was years in the making. And I mean, I'm not saying that like, because like, yes, I have a great appreciation for Demon Slayer and what it is. It's a great story. It's a great character. It doesn't have nearly as much filler.
Not a lick. I mean, the filler is literally within the episode.
Precisely.
I would say that
it's something that I have a concern about now thinking about it.
I would say even though we are getting into this new era where filler is slowly becoming a thing of the past, I feel like we should bring it back to a degree of let it still contribute to the story, but not be as harsh or as it still needs to be relevant to the story as a whole, but a little lighthearted, I would say.
So
something like
are you telling me you want more filler? And I mean, we're going to use Naruto as an example here, obviously. That's more of getting Kakashi's bandana to be pulled down so they could see his entire face within the original Team 7, or more filler that's like, I guess, let's say, I don't want to necessarily say that Kakashi's like past is like that kind is like filler because it's that intergenerational thing.
Right, no, that's that whole intergenerational.
But like maybe less filler.
I would say filler. I would like filler. Like, and this is me switching up on anime again. Like in My Hero Academia, it was almost like a filler season, but not really because it was still dealing with the story as a whole.
You talking about the most recent season?
No, not the My Villain Academia, but the school festival.
The school. Okay.
Because that's I think season 4. Yeah, like it's like the latter half. It's like the latter half of season 4.
I hear. Yeah.
And it's
like after they come back from their internships, right?
Right. Yeah, and that's when we meet Aerie, her little precious self. She makes me cry every time I see her. But it's Aerie's back living with class 1A at the school. 1A and all of the school as a whole is getting ready for the school festival, and the reason they're doing it is because the principal is like, no, we need a morale boosting thing to have at the school because of all the villains and stuff that have been going, all of those like attacks that this class has dealt through in this year. Yeah. So it's like we just need something that'll boost their morale. I like where your head's at. So it's like it's filler, but it's still dealing with the story as a whole. I like where your head's at. And so if we had more filler like that, where it's like, hey, let's do this because we need. And it's not even a morale boost for the TV show, but it's also a morale boost for those who are watching it. Because if you watch something that devastating where... It's true. That's true. I hear where you're coming from. And then you go straight into something else like, hey, we need to continue this mission and go find XYZ ABC. There's like take it right now. Yeah. I mean, there's a legit element of respite and like relaxation needed for the viewing audience and for the characters, right? As opposed to, all right, so our filler, yes, it's going to tie into the story, but it's going to be like a third party character, and like it's going to be deep, but it's also not really relevant. You wouldn't necessarily eat it as a whole. Like the Kakashi, we're finding out what his face looks like. I mean, those are like the morale boosting kind of episodes. Exactly, yeah, I like those because it's like one time, like, and they're literally just one-off episodes, not like 3 episode arcs of something that we may or may not need for later. Yeah, right. So like I like those because it's like, hey, we see him, we see this guy's as that photographer and journalist, and at the end when he actually uncovers himself or like puts everything back on, it's like. As opposed to like the Infinite Tsukiyomi arc in the later Naruto episodes of during the because like dear God, like the amount of times like I saw first and foremost, people, I need y'all to realize that all 200 episodes of the 4th Great Ninja War was the span of 2 nights.
Yeah.
2 nights.
Yeah.
We spent 2 years watching 2 nights. For those who watch it week by week, you watch literally 48 hours of one war.
You know, I didn't watch that week to week. Thank God. Like at that point, I was in college at that point, and like I hadn't fully immersed myself at that point into all of it.
Right.
But like at that point, by that point, I was like, yeah, I'm in this. I'm so far in this, and like folks, at that point, there wasn't no filler.
No,
filler,
it was all
filler list.
No,
on
this
the
was
internet.
this was full 200. We watching all 200 episodes
because I don't know what's gonna happen that's consequential and what isn't. I ain't gone through that moment.
We figure out like we see when Neji dies. We see when Guy goes past his 8th gates and like he loses his leg. We see Madara F him up.
Wreck shit to all the Kages. All the Kages. Yeah, bro. Yeah. And like the moments that built up to those.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we could go on and on.
We could go on and on.
I mean, I want to wrap it up a little bit around, as we've been talking about how intergenerational the story is, like like this Boruto universe, right? Like I think we have to like at least briefly touch on it.
No, definitely. And I mean, even this most recent episode with what you said with the intergenerational aspect of this TV show, and spoiler alerts for those who haven't seen it yet, it's still on Hulu. Like I said, it's on Crunchyroll. It is on Crunchyroll. But the show comes out in America on Sundays. The podcast comes out on Tuesdays. Please watch it as soon as possible.
Like I genuinely encourage everybody to watch the entire Boruto like or whatever you want to call it, the new TV show, the new iteration, the new era. Because I think that it does perfectly, if you love Shippuden, it does perfectly advance the storyline. And at the point where we are now, where reveal
Kurama, aka the Nine-Tails Fox
is dead.
Yeah,
he's dead. Like he's not with.
He's no longer with Naruto. He's no longer
like he does that. His chakra is no longer a part of Naruto.
No, Naruto is
like what the actual
after 20 years, Naruto is by himself. He as a person
after he has developed these relationships, grown from being the outcast, of ultimately to being the hero of the village, and the leader. And the thing
all of that was with the help of Kurama,
without a doubt. Like he is now going. He has now turned a page into a new version of himself that I'm excited to see how he evolves without Kurama, because honestly, like he is still the greatest ninja of all time.
Oh, he definitely is. I mean my boy still has Sage Mode. He still has Sage Mode.
My boy is still the reincarnation of the first and the second son of the original Sage of Six Paths. Like this man is still special.
He's still OP,
without a doubt.
He's still OP. Like
I'm
still a guinea.
Still a guinea. But to watch it, to get to see how he is going to grow from this point, there's endless potential, Jeremy. Like it's gonna be great.
It's like the end of Loki, when like the branches of reality have spread out.
Yeah.
So we have so many branches of reality that we can get into with Naruto and where he's gonna go. Even though the show is called Boruto, Naruto. After this whole arc with Ishiki and Otsutsuki clan, this is back to Naruto's. This is Naruto's show. Straight up.
I have a lot of confidence, because here's the thing: like we still kind of have to get to the point where it's at the beginning of Naruto, where we see
Boruto,
at the beginning of Boruto, where we see Boruto and Kawaki standing on the old stone faces, and like all this ish has happened, like
saying that the Hokage is dead,
and all like the age of ninja is over. Like obviously, some ish is about to go down, but I'm excited. Yeah. I'm so excited.
But like Jay said earlier, we can go on and on. And what we're going to do now is take a quick break. You're going to hear a word from our sponsor, Anchor, and then we will be right back with the weekly blurb. Be right back, guys.
It's time for the weekly blurb.
It makes me smile every time.
Yeah, I'm never not going to get tired of that sound. Oh, man.
What an episode!
What an episode! Woo, we got into some nice hot topics.
I hope they really enjoyed this episode.
You can't get some Naruto merch from Hot Topic. Not a sponsor.
Get it from Box Lunch. You can get it from Target. You can get it from Walmart.
Spencer's.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like, there's some. I'm loving the fact that there's so many like kinds of pieces of merch out there related to Naruto now, and like it's okay for adults to wear it. But I digress.
Yeah. But yeah, welcome back, guys. It is time for the weekly blurb, and I am first this week.
Go ahead, Jeremy. Tell them what you're going to talk about.
So this week, and I appreciate Jay because I could not figure out what we were going to talk about, what I was going to talk about specifically.
Thank you.
You're welcome, bud. But from October, September 14th to October 15th, it is Hispanic Heritage Month, and we may or may not have touched on it here and there. We are getting our balls in the court and everything to make sure that we are all good for the month. We have an interview coming up with...
Hopefully with my friend Michaela.
Yes, I didn't want to mispronounce it. That's why I adjusted to Jay. And we want to speak with her soon about her experience as a Blerd in the Hispanic culture. And yeah, that's essentially what we're going to be doing. That's what we're going to... I just want to let you guys know what we're going to be doing for the next coming weeks, as well as to let you know that it's a time to celebrate not just our people, black people as a culture, but also the Latinx community, the Asian community. Yep. Yeah, everybody. I mean, Blerd as a whole, it is a black nerd, but we are open to...
We're inclusive.
We're very inclusive.
We're inclusive.
Yeah.
We want
the survivalist is one of many colors of the...
Precisely.
Of the rainbow.
Precisely.
And yeah, I just wanted to basically list off a couple of my favorite comic books, comic book characters, actors, voice actors that you've heard of as well as you've seen, and probably you didn't even know that they were of the Latinx community. One that we talked about right before we started back with the podcast was Hawk Girl from the Justice League animated TV show.
And even Justice League Unlimited, right?
Yeah, she's in both of them, and she's played by, I cannot remember her name. Let me look it up real quick. But she plays the mom in Wizards of Waverly Place.
Right. And this woman, I mean, that's kind of where she first, I think, broke onto the scene. Maybe even. I'm kind of just speculating.
Well, I think she was already an established actress at that point, but it was still Maria Canals Barrera. That's her name, and she. But yeah, I think she definitely got her voice out there when it came to Justice League and Hawk Girl.
I agree.
And then
I think you made a really interesting point. I mean, beforehand, talking about how when they the universe, when they created the different intergalactic beings in
Justice League animated series and Justice League Unlimited, they specified for the Hawk species and core, because they were like an alien core that were trying to take over the world. They were of the Latinx community. Then we have the Martians, like Martian Manhunter and John Jones, who his people before they were eliminated were black. And it was just interesting that you got basically this diverse culture coming together. You got them coming from these different areas of space coming to Earth to become one giant melting pot, as America is supposed to be.
So who are some of your other favorite Latinx actors and actresses or voice actors and such?
So not specifically voice actors, but also comic book characters is Jaime Reyes, who is the Blue Beetle in DC Comics.
Dope hero. Super dope hero.
But also him, him getting the scarab and everything is just dope, and like everything he does. I
loved him in Young Justice.
Yes, it's probably my favorite iteration of him. Awesome. But then also one that you all know, but probably don't speak on as much is Miles Morales, which, I mean, it's in the name alone. Morales is his Latinx part, but he's half black, half Latino.
I think he's Puerto Rican specifically, right?
I believe so. But don't quote us on that. We'll research it and let you guys know. But definitely those are my two favorite comic book characters. And then we have actors as well as Selena Gomez, of course, beautiful woman, Latinx community. She's incredibly talented. We already mentioned Maria Canals Barrera, who was her mom in Wizards of Waverly Place, as well as Hawk Girl. We have a couple of more. I will post them definitely on our Instagram page just to let you guys know that we are here. We stand with our Hispanic brothers and sisters and keep on surviving. From Jeremy, that is my time on the Weekly Blerd. Jay, what you got for us today?
So, thank you, Jeremy.
Yeah.
And I'm excited once again to talk about a new development, and I'm gonna talk a little bit about some football. Kinda. No, I'm going to talk about what everybody actually might care about. The majority of the world might care about more of than the actual Super Bowl, which is the Super Bowl halftime show, which was announced this week. And dude, when I saw it, I got super hyped. And I don't know if people have checked it out yet, but if you haven't gotten a chance to like look into it to see who is going to be performing at the Super Bowl, spoilers ahead. It's Dr. Dre.
That's the headliner.
Eminem.
Oh my God.
Kendrick.
Oh, Jesus.
Mary J. Blige.
Yes, sir.
And none other than the Godfather, Snoop Dogg. Your dog.
Snoop Dogg, yeah.
I mean, like, bro, like I'm endlessly excited for this. I mean, when I talked to you about it, I was like, I don't think there's ever been a rap, or I don't think I've ever seen a hip hop rap a halftime show for the. I guess people would argue maybe Janet Jackson was a little bit hip hop. But she's like,
she's R&B, popping R&B, and that whole scandal with Justin
Timberlake.
And then,
but like you said that, like in the early 2000s, Nelly was a halftime show as well. But I hadn't at that point watched any kind of, really any kind of NFL football for sure in the early 2000s. Like at that point, I was only watching college football. But I don't think that there's ever been. With this lineup, I'm just so hyped because I don't think there's hardly anybody missing. I was speaking with you, and I said maybe in another world where Andre 3000 might be on it or J. Cole might be on it. I mean, in terms of greatness, how you level this thing up, I mean, that would be it.
Yeah, it's gonna be
it's gonna be a show for the books,
yeah.
bro.
I was gonna say it's gonna be a riot for in the most popular and most positive sense of the word.
I mean, it's gonna be a hot riot, man. It's gonna be you got giving me Slaughterhouse vibes. You're giving me early 2000 vibes. I'm wondering, we might get some the Venom track. We might get the probably the song that
if he brings out any of the OG members that are still with us of NWA,
bruh,
and we get a throwback. Because it's only a 20-minute performance,
right?
So,
how are you gonna?
You got five. You already got five people on the
with minimum of at least one 5-minute song each. That's the whole. That's everyone that everyone loves. I'm very excited to see this performance, and I mean I kind of maybe feel it's gonna be a statement, bro. Thinking about the last few halftime performances, especially with the Jennifer Lopez and the Shakira one most recently. I mean, setting a standard for some things that are happening in the world and bringing attention to it, children in cages. We saw that, and they made sure to put it on live television. I'm very interested
on the most watched
on one of the most
events of the year
in the world. People watch them across the world, and then they watch it again on YouTube, because they always record the performance.
Well, they posted immediately on YouTube. NFL posted on YouTube
pretty instantaneously,
15 minutes after it ended.
Exactly.
You immediately see it on YouTube.
Exactly. So getting to see what this statement piece might be with all of these like incredibly creative minds and like artists. I mean, like, how do you got like the seriousness and like the lyricality, like lyrical giants up there, like between Kendrick and M and like Snoop Dogg and like Dre. I mean, like Dr. Dre is a beat king. Like, I mean, like the man, obviously, like he's a talented artist and rapper, but I mean, first and foremost, he's a music producer, right? Like, this man is going to put together something that I think honestly is going to blow people's minds. Truly, like, I mean, he's like he is truly a godfather of hip hop and R and rap. You know, it's gonna be something special, and I'm very. I just want to let you know
though, the first rap group that did a halftime show for the Super Bowl. January 27th, 1991.
All right.
New Kids on the Block.
Woof. All right. That is my time, and I am excited to see what the halftime show is gonna behold for us.
It's going to be a doozy. But we appreciate you guys for listening each and every week. We thank you for listening to this episode. It was a special one to both of us. Please remember to follow us on all of our social media platforms.
At Blerd Survival Guide on Instagram, at Blerd Guide on TikTok and Twitter, at Blerd Survival Guide on Facebook, obviously. And you can also follow us at our personals.
At JairBear3295.
And at JDub0283.
And you can email us for any and all questions, comments, or concerns. If you want to be interviewed, if you just want to shoot the shit with us, email us at blerdsurvivalguide@gmail.com. We are willing, open, and ready to have you guys.
And until then,
keep on surviving.
Keep surviving, everybody.
This theme song.
Spotlight survival is true. Bringers come and take a seat with the combo we provide every Tuesday. It's the Blerd Survival Guide. 2 guys, 2 mics, our producers. Step into the spotlight. Survival is true. Bringers come and take a seat with the combo we provide every Tuesday. It's the Blerd Survival Guide.